The city itself will be our playground to use as we please.
Wait! Before we get into this totally tubular 1990s film, man, hit that subscribe button, dude. Ha!
How was that?
It's Mikey, man.
Oh, is that what that was?
Between 1989 to freaking 1994-95, it was the karate phase, all right? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a Double Dragon, 3 ninjas,
Yes,
okay? 1, 2,
ninjas.
and 3, knuckle up. And Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas. Yeah.
All of it was the craze, but it started with this.
The first thing you'll notice is this movie is dark. I mean, dark. Like, visually, the image is dark. Supposedly, the director damn near lost his job because the movie was so dark. He went to the studios. They were like, "Why does it look? Have you seen the cartoon? Like, why does it look like this? This movie is dark. It's got a crazy thick film grain on it. There's mist coming out of the sewers. It looks nasty. It looks dirty. It looks awesome. I think the look of this film is incredible."
He saw Batman 1989. He was like,
He was like, I want that. Give me that. Yeah. In 1990, like, I was a little kid. I did not watch this in 1990. I was not old enough to even understand what the hell was going on. So I'm sure I watched this later. So I was introduced to the Ninja Turtles via the cartoon. And the cartoon is very different from this movie. You can tell this movie was made by older people at the time because they weren't that interested in the cartoon. You know, there are some things from the cartoon they brought in, like April O'Neil wearing yellow and the color-coded but bandanas and things like that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, they really stuck to the comic book source material. And a lot of that stuff seems to, at least in my opinion, I think it's been kind of overwritten by the cartoon. It is kind of mean and it's got kind of a cruel edge to it, or ugly edge to it. For example, Raphael, the first word he says is, "Damn." That's the first word he said.
Come on, let's get him in the car.
We just talked about Octopussy, something about the 80s and early 90s. PG meant something different when you say stuff like that.
I've heard people say that when they were kids, they thought this movie was scary. And looking at it through that lens now, like trying to look at it from like a little kid's point of view, yeah, I think this movie is kind of creepy, kind of scary, you know? But that being said, I think the Turtles, in my opinion, have never looked better than this movie. Every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie after this, the Turtles looked worse and worse and worse. Obviously,
I totally agree with you, man.
Obviously, Jim Henson worked on this film, and he did not work on the others because he died, right? So he wasn't there.
Yes.
And then they started going to the 3D era, and I think they looked like the Michael Bay. They look like, again, more garbage heaps. I don't know. What is it with
Those
Michael
supposed
Bay?
to be giant teenagers, dude.
I don't know what that's about. But this, to me, is where they look the best. When I think of the Ninja Turtles, this is the image that pops up in my head.
When I also think of the Turtles, I think of the Turtle Mobile with the launching pizza disc.
The toys and stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jesus, I love that thing.
That's really funny.
Okay.
You can even tell in the name, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, it started off as a joke. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a completely random line of words, right? And then, of course, the comic book is kind of taking the piss out of Daredevil because the same ooze that blinded Daredevil is the same ooze that gets on the Turtles and gets on the Rat. And so this movie, I think, is trying to thread a needle, right? It's trying to be accurate to the original comic while not alienating the kid base, which was me and you at the time. Because like the movie even has like some like little kid jokes where very early on a pizza lands on Splinter's head and it goes like
Different. Whoops.
Kids.
Yeah, exactly. So you know they're trying to lighten the mood, but to me this makes the movie strangely disjointed, which actually works really well because the characters themselves are bizarre and disjointed, right? None of this stuff should work, right? And yet it does.
This story takes place, of course, in New York. So that's where the Turtles are. and April O'Neil is a reporter, and crime is going up.
By the way, April being a TV reporter, that's another thing they took from the cartoon, because she worked in a antique store in the comic. So, but in this movie, she just lives above her father's antique store.
Yeah, well, Easter egg there. Mm-hmm. The foot soldiers is basically they're doing like petty crime. They're stealing freaking TVs and cars and car radios.
A mysterious crime wave throughout New York.
Yeah, throughout New York. And these freaking foot soldiers, they're teenagers. They're kids. They're kids that don't got no home. But it's headed by Shredder. Out of all the turtles, Raphael represents the darkness of the city and of the story.
And he's the main character, which I didn't realize that at the time. Like, he's the first turtle we see. It's his side that gets lost that starts the whole story. When he gets injured, the whole movie just freaking stops, right? Until he gets better. I didn't realize at the time that Raphael was actually the main character.
I get that because Donatello and Michelangelo are the comic relief of this film, and just period as you know, turtles, because Donatello's the smart one and Michelangelo is like the youngest one, the kiddish type of one. And Leo is supposed to be the leader, but that's the rift between him and Raph. You know,
right? They're exact opposites. Where Leo is much more by the book. Right, and then Raphael is kind of like he's very emotional. He does his own thing. He's very angry. You know, they clash, and I like how they clash to the point of like fighting like real brothers do.
Oh, so that's the plan from our great leader, huh? Just sit here on our butts. I never said I was a great leader. Well, you sure act like it sometimes. Yeah? Well, you act like a jerk sometimes. You know that?
But then in the end, they hug. They like hug it out.
It's a Kodak moment.
You know, so
that was a sweet
relationship. Yeah,
that was sweet. He was like, Leo, I know.
And there's a lot of strange moments. Like there's a moment where Michelangelo is straight up crying when they commune with Splinter, when he gets lost. Michelangelo's like, he's got tears coming down. Like, there's like some real pathos in this movie.
The through line theme in this film is when I said about the foot soldiers and the teenagers not having a home and stuff like that. There's a kid that's in this film by the name of Danny. He's this misfit that just doesn't want to act right, doesn't care about his dad and his job or whatever, which happens to be April O'Neil's boss. That's his dad.
Didn't understand their relationship. Is he living with April?
Exactly.
I was like,
he's just coming into their house all the time and stuff like that. So weird,
bizarre.
Right? And this kid is just running off to go be a part of the foot soldiers. Now, don't get me wrong. As a kid, and you see the freaking area where the foot soldiers was, skateboards, video games, pizza, all type of awesome shit.
I was like, I can't wait to be a teenager. I'm gonna be all down there. I ain't gonna be a foot soldier, but I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out with them.
Hang out. But then I ain't gonna be doing something with the kids. There's a kid in there smoking cigarettes. It's weird PG energy, right?
Right. You got any cigarettes?
Regular or menthol?
They're basically saying that these kids don't have a home. These kids don't got no families. But when Splinter is talking to Danny after he gets captured, and he's saying that, all fathers care about their sons, that's the through line. That, it's about father-son type of thing.
It's about family. That's a thing. Family. Family, right?
Family.
Yeah. So where these punk kids, they try to find family with the foot soldiers. By the way, foot soldiers, Daredevil fights the Hand. You see how they connect. The Turtles, they find a family with each other and with Splinter as their, surrogate father. And then even when they go to April O'Neil's farm, their family bond gets even stronger. And when they bring in April, and they bring in Casey Jones, the themes are strong in this film. Some kids films, there's nothing there. Just like the sequels for this movie, but we're gonna pretend like they don't exist. Shh.
They really don't.
But this film actually has real themes.
The second one I could bear a little bit.
Okay. I'll let you
ninja rap. Go.
Right.
But that third one, man, when they went through time, I was like,
I was like, no. Master Splinter is up on the roof of the second one. We're here to review the first one, so don't worry, I'll get back to it. But
yeah,
Master Splinter's up on the roof meditating, and everyone's like, where's Master Splinter? And Splinter says, I'm coming. And that turned into a big meme.
Where's Splinter?
He's been up on the roof ever since he saw your report.
Really? Doing what?
Coming.
It's like the big meme. That's all I can remember about the second one.
Oh man,
I'm coming.
Didn't they recast April too in that film?
Yeah, they did. They recast April. Yeah, the original actress didn't come back. Who, by the way, was really good in this film.
Man, time has not been good to Casey Jones, dude. That dude looks crazy.
He does look, but he's actually a good actor. Like, he's a good actor. So he's had a really good career.
All them long, luscious hairs he had in this film.
Go. Go.
Let's talk about Splinter in the cartoon. He is the actual master.
Right. He's Master Yoshi.
And he is transformed in there. But in this, he is the pet who is learning the moves in the cage.
I like the idea of Yoshi being Splinter better. That might just be my bias. The foot, they've discovered the turtles, thanks to the little asshole kid Danny. And they come and they kidnap Splinter and they torture him. And one of the interesting things about the animatronics is Splinter just looks disgusting. Like, he looks nasty, and he looks wet. It looks like a wet, nasty rat. And yet you can't help but to sense some wiseness in the character. And so I the fact that the movie can make you forget, even just for a second, that this is like a puppet, I think is fantastic.
And we should have known that Ralph was the main character at that point, because when everyone stepped through the room and they just looked at all the destruction, when Ralph came from behind them, he stepped up and this camera was spinning around him. He was the most pissed.
There's a little scene before that where Raphael, because he's always mad and letting off steam, he comes back to the sewers, and Splinter is there waiting for him. And he's like, yo, Raph, let me talk to you, And he's like, you're different from your brothers, Your brothers, they all lean on each other, but you're kind of a loner, You deal with your emotions by yourself, and you have to learn not to deal with everything on your own. You have to deal with these things as a
don't leave us behind, because we're a family.
Exactly.
Toretto.
Yeah, exactly. And so those themes even come back when later in the film, when they're fighting Shredder. Each turtle tries to fight Shredder one-on-one. They get their ass whooped, but only when they start working together do they defeat Shredder. So I really like the themes of this film.
Casey Jones just said, oops.
Yeah, just straight up murdered him. He was like, you're dead.
Oops.
And then the police are right there. You're
right
I'm
there.
gonna commit murder in front of everybody. I'm like, Jesus, Casey.
Thank you, rated PG film, for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he wasn't dead, because he comes back in the second film.
We're not gonna talk about that.
But
Coming.
and then he I was hooked on the ninja craze, man, when I was a kid.
Of course, me too.
I'm gonna give this film, I'll give it an A-. I did enjoy this film then. I do enjoy this film now. I do have to take it away with a little bit of the corniness and stuff that it has.
Oh, it's very corny.
Some cheesiness and stuff. And the moves seem so weird and slow and telegraphed and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll give it an A-.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an A. But you talk about the moves. They literally have a big animatronic thing on their head, and they're wearing big shells. And the fact that they can even move even remotely like this is, to me, incredible. Batman couldn't, and Batman came out literally the year before. So the fact that they can move like that, they're still flipping around and stuff. I think that's pretty incredible.
Okay, I'm pulling an audible. Change it back to an A. Change it back to an A. I give it an A.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. So I did enjoy this movie. It is quite nostalgic. I imagine though, if you were a little kid and you watched this today, like with modern eyes, I don't think you would like it as much as we do, because it does kind of feel like a time capsule, and it does feel old. It feels very late 80s, early 90s-y, you know.
They're still in car radios and
exactly.
tube TVs.
Yeah, tube TVs with the wood paneling. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So the movie hasn't aged as gracefully as I would like, but I don't care, because I have so much nostalgia for this film. The fact that we're still talking about them, and the fact there's a new movie out like today, like with these exact same characters, that's incredible. So I'm giving this one an A. I remember this movie was so influential at the time that the elementary school I went to, they had I remember reading it because I was a little kid and I was like learning how to read. So I was like reading the whole list. They were like, okay, here's the list of banned things. You can't bring it to the school. And I'm like, all right. And so one of them was like nunchucks. And I'm like, nunchucks? Who's bringing nunchucks to school? But you know what it is? It's because, like you said, the ninja craze was so big that maybe some kid actually did bring freaking nunchucks to school. I don't know.
For a person that haven't seen this film, which I don't know how, do you recommend it for that person? I know you're probably not going to say for a kid, but do you recommend it for like a teenager or something?
Yeah, especially if you're, old and decrepit like us, then I recommend it. If you are just a fan of movies, then this is an interesting time capsule. But I think if you're just a little kid trying to discover the Turtles, this might not be the best entrance. Maybe the cartoon, but this movie is very, very 80s, even though I know it came out in the 90s. This is still a very 80s feeling film. Just a heads up though, if you were part of the ninja craze in the 90s, it's time to moisturize, guys. You're old now. It's time to moisturize. Past time. Lord have mercy.
But hey, man, as a black man, it's melanin.
No.
It's always moisturized.
I've seen some ashy black folks, dog.
I know. I'm just playing. I need to get on that cocoa butter bus, man.
Yeah, got to.
But more importantly, do you recommend this film? Have you seen the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 90s? You should have by now. All right. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below.
And also let us know which turtle is your favorite turtle. Personally, I've always been a Leonardo guy. I think it's because he's the leader. He's like got the two katanas. So let us know your favorite turtle.
And personally, my favorite turtle is Michelangelo. Because he's a goofy.
I would never. I mean, I'm shocked.
and I was the kid. I was the kid that brought the nunchucks to school.
Oh, it's your fault. All right,
it's my fault, man.
Now.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This was a blast from the past for us. We really do enjoy watching these old school films. And if you're new to seeing us, hit that subscribe button right at the bottom, all right? And help us out. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, all right? If you did like this rating and review for this Rewind episode, please hit that thumbs up. Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion. Just remember one thing. It is mostly wrong. See another totally tubular film, man.